So here we are. Today we had another announcement this morning. After the announcements yesterday, there's so much Total Warhammer news coming out. So we've got more details on these Ogre mercenaries. I'm going to just show you on screen here and read a little bits of it out. Ogres and how they're hired, because that's the information we didn't get yesterday, but also all the different types we're going to get. It's a lot more than I thought. I thought we were only going to get one type of Ogre mercenary, but let's just go through the announcement bit by bit. So, how does it work in game terms? Ogre camps have a chance to spawn whenever an act of destruction takes place, so battles, sieges, razing and sacking of settlements, anything where there is a plunder to be had and meat to be served. And so ogres will move into an area and create a camp, which you can then interact with via an army. And then you can choose which tribe to work with and pay, giving units to the local mercenary pool. So that's interesting. And I might as well say now, as we're going through this, I'm kind of changing my mind about possibly which race I expected to be the pre-order, because I had strongly expected it to be Dogs of War. But now I'm kind of thinking, with all the work they've done and with the quality of releases they've put out lately, like going on what I said yesterday, pre-order factions tend not to be as interesting or as fleshed out as other ones. But with the huge improvements they've made to the DLC over the course of Total Warhammer 2, I would expect something with a lot of polish. I mean, we got Imric from Free LC, and we're getting this now as just Free LC. So I'm kind of, I'll talk about it more at the end of the video, but let's keep going. So from there, you simply have to actually recruit the units into the army you wish to have them in, keep them paid. The ogre camp will disperse, though more will always spawn later. If you run out of money to pay your ogres, who are not cheap, then they will depart without a moment's hesitation. Now, in the email, they talked about ogres eating people. So this kind of indicates maybe that's not the norm, but what I would expect is maybe maybe there's a random event where if they don't get paid, they will eat one of your units, or maybe it's just an RNG thing that they haven't put the details out on yet, but that'll be very interesting to see. They've explicitly noted that custom games with unit caps enabled won't be able to recruit them currently, so we're going to hopefully see some updates from SFO to take care of that. And they've said that there are 5 units available. They've shown 3 here, but there are also variants within the units. So let's go through the standard. Big, brutish, and extremely violent, ogres are simple and straightforward creatures. They know what they want and use their brawn to take it. Ogres don't do templative head scratching, preferring to smash things they don't understand. The bold charge forwards is their favourite way to crush any opposition and greedily grab what they like. And what ogres want is power, respect, wealth, and perhaps most of all, an endless supply of meat to feast on. Given the chance, an ogre will barge into combat using his great lumbering mass as a weapon. They excel at fighting, and this, along with their greed and lack of concern about right and wrong, means that an ogre mercenary is always ready for a battle against anyone, anywhere. History is replete with examples of ogres being paid to fight, and even sometimes being paid not to take a fray, not to join a fray. And when they do enter combat, ogres make frightening opponents, for they are savage and can sometimes devour the fallen where they lie. In the heat of battle, this horrifies their opponents, who must fight the blood-spattered vanquisher of their former comrades. And so we've got 2 variants of these. So really what we're getting is 2 units for just this one. We're getting mace and dual weapons. And setting, it's the standard monstrous infantry count, same as Kroxigor, same as Troll, so we're going to get 12, causing fear and operating as a siege attacker, which will be very useful if you're lacking a siege engine of some kind. You don't have any regiments of renown and you need to quickly siege a city with an army that happens not to have a siege unit. Hire some ogres, man. And looks like a dual weapon variant are going to be the anti-infantry variant. Then we've got Ogre Man-Eaters, the veteran version. So Ogre Man-Eaters are veterans of many campaigns fought in far-off lands, traveling mercenaries beyond peer. They have spent decades accruing scars, tall tales, wealth, and exotic war gear. Man-eaters have fought throughout the old world and beyond, and many races attempt to recruit such fighters into their armies, promising food, gold, or whatever else the ogres want in return for their services. It's the pay that matters, not the foe, although with some contracts, man-eaters are awarded fallen enemies to eat, so in those cases the enemy may matter. Ogres eat anything, but they have preferences. Man-eaters tend to operate in small groups, some of which have fought together for years. Despite their outlandish appearance, these tight-knit bands excel at breaking heads. It's rare for any two man-eaters to fight or be equipped in exactly the same manner, and opponents find themselves facing a dizzying array of different weapons and combat techniques. The only real factors uniting the individualistic man-eaters are a monumentally inflated sense of self-worth and the capacity to smash aside lesser creatures without breaking a sweat. And with them, we're getting ogre pistols and great weapons. So, you know, not quite true to the tabletop customization necessarily, because they are all going to be one of two types. But hopefully we'll get some different skins or models at least to kind of have a little bit of flavor accessorizing so that they all look like unique kind of veterans of war. So we've got their hybrids, equally deadly in melee combat with the pistol variant, but can weaken the enemy prior to contact, pretty standard. Firing while moving, great weapon variant bestows the usual bonuses on charges and versus large units. And finally, we've got the Mournfang Cavalry. Now, these guys are going to be fun. So, powered by thick haunches of purest muscle, a Mournfang surges towards the foe at a speed faster than their muscle-bulked frames would suggest, not slowed in the least by the large ogre or saddle atop its hairy back. Protected by thick skin and coarse shaggy hair, enemy arrows bounce off the oncoming beast or ping off the ogre's armor as harmless as hailstones. When they do smash into an enemy, the powerful Mournfangs chomp, slash, and stamp the foe while the ogres lay about, swinging ponderous clubs to bludgeon them. There is a fortune to be made as a mercenary for a young ogre with his own Mournfang, and every spring a few stout lads from the upper slopes will join together and sell their services to some of the heaviest shot cavalry in the known world. Although whole units of Mournfang cavalry can usually secure the victory of any battle they are engaged in, these brutes and their gigantic steeds do not come cheap. The tyrants or paymasters of the victorious side often note a profound feeling of loss when the spoils of war are shared out. So, obviously the ogres are going to be powerful, but very disproportionately expensive, I expect. Not something you're going to want to be keeping in your army for a long time, unless you're very rich, maybe like towards the end of a campaign. So, more to come. So this is not the end of the units we're going to be seeing with this free LC. This is crazy to me that we're getting this much in a free LC. It seems like they're really bringing Total Warhammer 2 out with a bang. And they're confirming here that this is the final DLC. Now, the Silence of the Fury is going to be the final DLC, and this is going to be the final free content for Total Warhammer 2, which is not to say that there's not going to be a pre-order bonus from Total Warhammer 3. Yeah, although maybe, you don't know, maybe they'll change their ways. If there's one thing that I've learned watching the speculation over the last year of this game, is that people think they can predict exactly what's going to come. They can be surprised. Nobody expected Vampire Coast, so we could see some very interesting things. I think the DLC is going to go crazy in Total Warhammer 3. I would love to see some things like Nippon. I would love to see the Snake Men of Koresh. But at this point, I'm just really happy what we've gotten. So that's about it for this update. Just wanted to make a quick video. This is going to be my last video on Total War for a while. If you do like this kind of stuff and you want to see more content from me, please give me a like and a subscribe. Very small channel right now, so every single person who subscribes really helps me out. So thank you very much for watching and have a great day. And goodbye from Dende.
We need more Lizardmen DLC.